There are many events in history that aren't fully understood until the light of knowledge is shined upon them. Tituba's story was not known to us until we read her novel, and now today, the light of knowledge will shine on a new story, the story of Jack, or as he was previously known, Agasu. Agasu was sold in 1771 to a Dutch slavery ship, which took him to the plantations of Barbados, which is where the spirit of Tituba now rested. She knew the pain that this poor boy felt, and she could feel his presence when he arrived on the island. So her spirit went to him for guidance, as she had gone to so many others like him before. So he searched the island day and night to find this boy, to comfort him. One day she found this boy, digging up rows and rows of dirt in order to plant seeds into the fertile earth. The poor boy had to do this day and night, digging and digging and digging, back-breaking, practically submerging himself into the dirt to plant the seeds, for he was only a small boy. And Tituba knew that she could offer guidance to this boy, and as he worked tirelessly, she decided to act. She knew that this boy needed help, that he needed to have reassurance. She had seen the people of this island lose hope and kill themselves, and so she went to him. And so as the boy was planting another row of endless seed over and over, suddenly he felt a presence right above him. And the boy reacted. He said, What is this? What is that? And he looked around and he couldn't see anything at first. So he went back to planting until he firmly felt a hand on his head. And he looked up and he saw her, Tituba. And he had heard the stories of this woman, this miraculous woman who had performed miracles, who would try to lead rebellion, but her rebellion had failed. Jack brought this up to her, about how the rebellion had failed, and how her and Iphigenie had been burned. And she said, yes, this is true. We were burned, but I am standing before you, am I not? And the boy agreed. I see you. I feel your hand on my head. And she said, yes. Death is only a door, and it doesn't lead to the end. It leads new beginnings. And she whispered the secrets of healing and curing into his ear. And he promised her that he would do this, to give hope to those on the plantation. But before long, one of the plantation owners came looking for him. They had noticed that he'd been slipping away from his work, and they called out to him. They said, Jack, where have you been? And he said, I've been talking with Tituba. And they laughed. They said, ha, the witch that we burned, she's not here anymore. She's dead. If you don't start doing your work, you'll be dead just like her. And they beat him. They beat him senselessly. And Jack felt anger. Tituba had warned him against anger, but as he was being beaten, he didn't want to forgive. He wanted to hate. Tituba could feel this anger in him, but perhaps she could change that. But as time went on, it seemed more and more unlikely. The Hatian Revolution came, and with it, people went burning down the plantations, taking vengeance for all they had lost, and the fires raged greatly against the night sky. They threw the plantation owners into the fires, watching as they burnt, their ashes flowing into the night sky. Tituba watched all this with sadness. This was not the path she had wanted. She knew that revenge only resulted in an endless cycle of bloodshed, and so she took her leave of the boy, and hoped the best for him. But as the boy grew, his shadow twisted, and it changed into a familiar shape, a dark shape. The shadow twisted in the shape of the former plantation owner. The cruelty and anger had resulted in the boy becoming as angry and cruel as his previous oppressors, and Tituba knew this. She had seen this firsthand. She could only watch sadly, her spirit weeping for the boy. And sadly, one day, when the trees had lost all their leaves, and only the bare branches remained, there swung the body of Jack. He swung there. He was hung by a rebel army. As Tituba knew, revenge just brought more and more bloodshed, an endless cycle. As the shadows lengthened due to the passing of the day, so too did the shadow of the hanging tree stretch across the entire island. Tituba then walked into the path of the shadow, and she stared at the corpse of the boy that she had tried to teach, and she wept. She wept for him, for all the people that she had tried to teach her ways, and who had fallen. She wept for all those who she had not yet touched, and who she knew would fall. She wept for them, because in this violent cycle, this is the only end.